Hey. I can't take myself seriously like that. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's Valentine's Day, and so we're gonna talk about some romance manga. So here's the deal. I picked out 5 romance manga recommendations, and these are my personal favorite romance manga. I know there is some great romance manga out there. The thing is, I'm still kind of new to manga, and because of that, I'm not gonna recommend series that I haven't read. So I'm gonna talk about 5 of my personal favorite romance series that I have read. And the issue with that, A, I haven't read a lot of shoujo. All the series I'm recommending are shonen romance series. And B, the other thing is that they're all pretty similar. I can say this about any genre of manga, but for some reason, there's so much manga that takes place in like a school setting. I don't know why. But either way, I'm gonna be talking about some great series nonetheless. They're my personal favorites. I do have plans to read more in the romance genre. I know Fruits Basket, I talked about that in my last manga haul. I just picked that up, but I only got 1 volume, so I feel like I don't have a good enough grasp on the series to recommend the series because I've only read so little of it. And the same thing goes with stuff like Quintessential Quintuplets. So without further ado, let's get into my personal favorite romance manga recommendations. Actually, it's funny enough, I'm just realizing I've got a different series for each publisher. That's hilarious. Except for Dark Horse. I don't have a Dark Horse recommendation. All right, so starting off this list, we've got Rent a Girlfriend. Now, Rent a Girlfriend is interesting. Without spoiling anything, this guy right here on the back of the cover, his name's Kazuya, and Kazuya is dumped horribly. And so for some reason, this guy decides to use this Rent a Girlfriend service where you can like rent a girlfriend for a day. Kazuya is obviously ashamed of the fact that he rented a girlfriend, so he gets sent down the slippery slope of just lies and deceit. This guy only makes bad decisions. It's hilarious. It's like, okay, how is he gonna get out of this pickle this time? You know what I mean? And that's why Rent a Girlfriend is so interesting. Also, I just went on that whole spiel about all these romance mangas being in a school setting. Rent a Girlfriend actually takes place in a college setting, but also I don't spend much time there. So I guess this one kind of stands out from the rest of them because of that. I've only read volumes 1, 2, and 3, but yeah, it's a great series. It's very funny at times. The artwork is amazing, and so I can definitely recommend Rent a Girlfriend. Okay, so the next manga recommendation I have for you, Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro. Okay, so Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro is about this guy. He's your average anime manga protagonist. We don't actually know his name. He's just kind of called Senpai throughout the whole series. He has this run-in with a girl from the class underneath him, and her name is Nagatoro. And Nagatoro obviously likes Senpai, and so she's made it her goal to toy with Senpai a lot. It's kind of like, you know how kids will bully the kids that they like just to get their attention? It feels a lot like that. One thing that stands out about this series is the way the facial expressions are drawn. In Nagatoro specifically, she's got some crazy facial expressions. Kind of unsurprisingly, this manga series is receiving an anime adaptation. I don't know what studio's doing it or when it's coming out or anything like that. I know there was a trailer for it, but I don't know how it's gonna do in an anime form. The artwork is kind of like such a big deal. From the footage I saw, it had a very different feel to it than what you would get from the manga. So anyways, I recommend Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro, and maybe if you're into this sort of Iyashikei type of manga, maybe jump on the train before the anime is released. So the next series I want to recommend is actually Toradora. The first time I ever heard of Toradora was the anime. There is a fantastic anime adaptation of Toradora, and I highly recommend the anime. It's really good. Toradora is a romance comedy, and it's got its ups and downs, but when it gets to its ups, it's up there. Both the anime and the manga are adaptations of the Toradora light novel. I have not read the light novel, but I've read a lot of the manga. The story is great. Even if you've seen the anime, I think you could appreciate the manga. While the overarching story is the same, there's a lot of stuff in the manga that actually wasn't in the anime. So you do get lots of extra time with the characters, and you get lots of special character moments that weren't really there in the anime. It's got some very interesting characters. The character development is really good. The artwork in the manga is actually really good as well. The only thing I'd say is that you might as well be reading a light novel with this. There's so many words in this manga. It definitely takes me longer to read a volume of Toradora than it does to read a volume of like literally any other manga series. Okay, next up is Teasing Master Takagisan. This is a great series. This is one of my favorites. The next 2 series are actually some of my favorites. Teasing Master Takagisan actually takes place in a middle school setting. You've got our main character right here on the cover, Nishikata, and then our main supporting character, Takagi-san. This series is actually very similar to Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro, although I gotta say, I think I like Teasing Master Takagi-san a little bit better. It's a lot more innocent. It really embraces the Iyashikei genre, I think, and personally, I find it a lot funnier. So what it's about is our boy Nishikata is just a normal middle school kid. He's trying to do his studies, not too seriously, but then all of a sudden, you get this girl, Takagi-san. And now the thing is, Takagi Takagi-san loves to tease Nishikata. She's like a pranking master. She's like Jim from The Office times 10, except embodied as a middle school girl. The story is pretty anthological. You can pretty much jump in anywhere and get an understanding of what's going on, with the exception of a few chapters here and there. There is 2 anime adaptations of Teasing Master Takagi-san. Well, not 2. There's like a season 1 and a season 2. They're both very, very good series and fun to watch. The differences between the anime and the manga, there are scenes that are exclusive to the manga and there are scenes that are exclusive to the anime, and it's really interesting. The anime does a really good job of shuffling up the chapters of the manga in a way that would make sense, so you can watch the anime and it'll kind of feel like there's a chronological series of events happening, whereas with the manga, it's all shuffled up. So it is a very different experience reading the manga versus watching the anime, and I recommend you give both of them a try. It's a very fun series. It's very wholesome, very Iyashikei. All around, just a great series, I think. And now for my final romance manga recommendation, probably my favorite one that I've read so far. We've of course got Komi Can't Communicate. Now, I had heard great things about this manga before, but it wasn't until I actually sat down and read through the entire series that I really understood what people were talking about. Komi Can't Communicate is a yonkoma, or a 4-panel comic, and it's about this girl named Komi who has a communication disorder. She gets really severe social anxiety and can't really talk to people, to the point where she literally doesn't talk to people. And yet for some reason, everyone around her thinks that she's just the most perfect girl that ever existed, and that the reason she's not talking to them is because she's too good for them. But that's not the case at all. She's just a nervous wreck. And it's like this until she meets this guy named Tadano, who realizes that she is a nervous wreck and it's just a communication disorder that she has. The way Komi will communicate a lot of the time, she's too nervous to speak, so she'll write down on a notebook or on a chalkboard. Tadano ends up communicating with her, finding out the truth, and they set a goal for Komi because she wants to make 100 friends. And so that's what the manga is about. She goes through and just meets all these different characters, working towards her goal of meeting 100 friends. The characters are a huge part of the story. They're all hilarious. The situations they get themselves into are really funny. Komi, without saying anything, a lot of times will get whatever she wants, or will look like she's getting whatever she wants. And I really wanted to compare her to the One Punch Man of communication disorders, which doesn't really make much sense. When I was thinking about that, I realized if I'm using the One Punch Man as an analogy, Komi is a lot more like the character King from One Punch Man. I'm not going to spoil anything from One Punch Man, but imagine a One Punch Man spin-off series about King, and that's basically Komi Can't Communicate. It's hilarious, it's wholesome, the art is really good as well. You can see just from taking volume 1 and then taking volume 10, which is the latest one I have, if you compare them side by side, you can see a very visual progression, I guess, in the art style. You can see how the mangaka has like gotten better at drawing and how they've really defined their style as they've been drawing the manga, and I think that's really interesting. Komi Can't Communicate, probably my favorite romance manga so far that I've read. I definitely recommend it. Okay, so that was 5 romance manga recommendations, but of course that's just my very limited personal recommendations. I'm interested to hear what your favorite romance manga recommendations are, so go ahead and leave a comment. Let me know what some of like the best ones are. I'm definitely planning on trying out more. I know people are recommending Otakoi, which I'm trying out. People have been recommending Yon of the Dawn, so don't worry, I'm gonna be trying out more. Just give me some time, okay? I got a lot to read. So let me know what your favorites are in the comments below. I mentioned in my last video that I finally became a Right Stuff affiliate, so if you'd like to support me, you can use the link down below. If you buy anything from Right Stuff, you'll be directly supporting me if you use my link in the description. There were a handful of people that did use my link, and so I want to thank you guys so much. It really means a lot to me. You're really helping me out. But yeah, that's it. If you enjoyed this video, definitely leave a like. And if you want to see more videos like this, go ahead and subscribe and hit that bell notification button to be notified every time I upload a video. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Ryan, and bye.